speaking of the economy, this will be my last policy question. I got a letter from the IRS the other day telling me that my so-called rebate check is going to be coming, and it occurred to me that that's a lot of work and expense to send out millions of letters. I mean, why not just put it in with the check and say, hey, it's here, right? Yeah. But anyway, so how do you feel about this?
I got to tell you, that was strictly a decision by the White House.
Oh,
on that, and it didn't. If it had to come through us, if we had known about it before he did it, we'd have blocked it. I think it's a ridiculous waste of money.
Well, you do have franking privileges, right? You could stamp them, I guess, but it's still a huge investment.
It's posturing, basically, in what he wants to take credit for something wasn't even his idea.
Well,
that's the irony of it all. I mean, it wasn't. He didn't want the stimulus of that nature. He wanted to give a tax cut to millionaires, and he thought somehow that was going to stimulate the market.
Right.
This sort of got forced down to people that make as little as $3,000 up to $75,000, and $150,000 for couples or whatever, which he didn't really want.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
But now he wants to take credit for it by sending you an unnecessary notice at great expense. Right. It's insane.
And I have a daughter in college, so I'm going to take the money. But I'm conflicted because, frankly, it's not a tax rebate. The money's not there. We're borrowing $30 billion to distribute. And so it does.
Well, the problem was this: this particular recession or down, the president says difficulty or whatever,
rough patch,
is for lack of spending. It's not that that people are spending too much and there aren't enough goods. This is that people aren't spending. So one part of it was to try to get some money to come in maybe May or June. The money will come in and hopefully people will spend it and keep some of our businesses going so they can hire people. There was a small tax credit for businesses to hire people and invest in equipment and things as well, and some relief for homeowners in there as well. Nobody thinks that's the whole answer. I mean, they're sort of like, all right, we got to try a lot of different things. If we really want to do something on that, we'd invest in infrastructure. I mean, the irony is...
Works Progress Administration, kind of?
The irony is that you mentioned one of the committee. I'm on the Education Committee and Labor, so we have all of those related issues, and I'm on that Foreign Affairs Committee. Whenever we go over to another country, we tell them you can invest in your people, education, healthcare, invest in your infrastructure. And for the last 7 or 8 years, we haven't done any of that here to the degree we should. So we've got $300 billion in infrastructure repair and maintenance that needs to be done, that has been attended, $100 billion of school maintenance and repair. If we just put $20 billion to the states and said you can use it for school repair and maintenance, for which are all starving, it'd be 280,000 people put to work. That would help your economy. Yeah. And you could get it committed in New York when they put $1 billion in Bloomberg. He got it committed within 4 months and spent within a year. So that's money into your economy for something that has to be done anyway if you want to be a strong country and for the safety of the schools and things, roads, bridges, or whatever. That would be a good place to inject some money that would get you a return. More taxes for people who are making money, improved infrastructure that strengthen your economy and your country, and move forward. And we're going to have a fight over that. But it's certainly better than giving tax breaks to George Soros and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, none of whom asked for it, none of whom wanted it, and all of whom realize that's not the answer.
And some of whom have said they'd refuse it if
it were.
Exactly. So my last question, I always try to give my students a healthy dose of cynicism and realism about the political process, but I always try to, leave them with
enough cynicism in the political process. We ought to try to, get them to invest in it and make it better.
Right. Well, that's just it. I try to give them a little glimmer of hope too. And I think, looking at the faces of the students in the assembly today, I think you're very good at transmitting some faith in the political process as well. So I wonder if you had any final thoughts, especially for students and young people, about the role of politics in their lives, how they can really make a difference. Yeah. And if you want to address your final comments directly to the camera, it'd have a nice...
I think Dr. Wiley has it right. I think he's got a great program here of getting people involved in public affairs. It isn't going to happen by itself. Citizenship is work. And for a lot of years, we've just sort of laid back and thought that whoever we elected down there, whoever we put in business, they're just going to do it and we're going to go about our way. We're the ones who make a response. We're our own oversight committee. Basically, every citizen is an oversight committee, and you have to make sure that you stay involved so nobody can pull the wool over your eyes, whether it's business running rampant, getting greedy and doing things they shouldn't do, or whether it's your local or state or federal government. And when people know that people are paying attention, they get answerable, and then things improve. So it's good to agitate. I mean, the environment is getting attention because Al Gore agitated and got an army of people to agree and bring it to the local level. So every community now has committees dealing with conservation and energy efficiency and things. Nobody that's in Washington or the State House or local government can do it unless they have people behind them who support what they're doing. Right. Nobody wants to be out on a limb and have it sawed off or have it misunderstood. So to do my job, I have to come out and talk to people all the time and have an exchange and get people to support what I'm doing and understand what it is that they need. To do a job as a citizen, you have to show up, be adamant about your position, be able to support it with facts or whatever, and then insist. that people do the right thing. And I think if we start insisting, instead of being cynical and saying, oh, they're a bunch of bums, and saying, well, we're going to get together and get rid of the ones that are. And we're going to keep the ones that we think are working effectively in there. And that's what this presidential choice is about. I think the number of people that have registered in the Democratic Party this time, some states 200,000 more registered, and people saying, you know what, we think these candidates are pretty good. We think that they're on the right angle here, and we're going to make sure they are. We're going to register and make our choice known, then we're going to stay involved and make sure they do what we need done.
Good. Congressman Tierney?
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks so much for coming.
Appreciate it.
Welcome. Keep swinging.
We
And
will.
we'll be right back with the Weekly Show.